I'm gonna have Emily try to help Sonya out, but in the meantime, Charles, do you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning. My name is Charles DeBow. I am the Executive Director for the National Black Chamber of Commerce. We're in Washington, D.C., and honored to have this groundbreaking opportunity to be part of this discussion and this initiative.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. It's people will come in and out as it's live, but also this will be recorded, so people can continue to access this going forward. Could you talk a little bit about the mission of your nonprofit?
In its simplest form, the National Black Chamber of Commerce was conceived with a mission to economically empower through entrepreneurial pursuits throughout the Black diaspora. So, what does that mean? That means that we believe that every individual, every person has the ability to impact their own economic disposition through entrepreneurism. And with that, there are a whole environment, a universe of what does that entail and how do you interact with it. So we're very centered and focused upon education, training, advocacy, and we have found, and particularly in the advent and evolution of the digital age, and where we're talking about connectivity and application, it reduced a lot of the barriers that had been facing small businesses. And we're really excited with the future, the horizon. It just continues to grow and expand. So there's a lot I can go on, but if you want some specific areas, we can go in those directions.
Sure, we can get into that, but why don't we start with talking about Black History Month specifically? Obviously it's important to elevate Black voices and remember Black causes year round, but what do you think the value of this particular awareness month is in general and also specifically to the Black Chamber of Commerce?
In just my opinion, and we're 7 days in so far, I'm noticing a difference in this particular point in time of a Black History Month. It means a lot of different things to a lot of people, but there is a sense that the tide is lifting all boats. And I mean that really in a non-ethnic or even demographic type of aspect. So we're talking about the open-mindedness, the willingness to interact by whether it be a consumer or a business for services or resources. And there is there's a perceivable and tangible less resistance, if you will, or more willing to engage. And that's where I'm seeing and feeling from, and I'm saying this really from a very focused disposition from a small business and for a business advocacy aspect. There's many other elements to it where a lot of our a lot of our younger people today, and I'm talking about schools and the challenges, we don't really talk about a complete unadulterated history. Our textbooks and the other things we talk about are very selective, and it does include things that have to do with ethnicity, but in a lot of ways, the point is that there's a lot to learn, and it's interesting to see when everybody gets involved, all these different tidbits of info, different things come out, and it means so many different things to so many people. So that expression is really dynamic.
Yeah, that's interesting that you're seeing this kind of rising tide. I think it's been a difficult couple years, and it's good to see some optimism coming up for this year's Black History Month. So to get into the crypto theme, I wanted to ask, how did the National Black Chamber of Congress find out about crypto and come to decide to accept it to help support their mission?
That's a great question. And the real, it was very organic. The real truth is, there wasn't a science to it. There wasn't any. There was a disposition by our leadership, our founders at the time, uh, Kay and Harry Alford, their husband and wife, and sadly, they both passed away in the last 8 months. And now we're in that position to be a little bit reflective. But their sons, Thomas and Harry Alford, are dynamic and outgoing and had had the inside what you might call the kitchen cabinet conversations about a traditional organization becoming less traditional or more open to not only developing technologies but developing entrepreneurs. And I had been talking about crypto, digital currency, forex trading, and we had noted, showed up on our radar that there is a buoyed area of activities in and around it. And we're talking about when coin, let's say, was down around maybe 7,000, 9,000. Really wasn't that long ago. And when we learned about the giving block, we thought that was a safe, comfortable, being around people that knew what they were doing, as well as for us getting outside our box. And we love to be trailblazing. We love to be on the front edge of things that our constituency is expecting us to know something about. And it was, if you go back to maybe around 1999, one of the biggest things that was happening across a huge swath of our economy was when the federal government first mandated that by 2000 you had to be able to do an electronic commerce transaction to be able to do business with them, and even to receive something like food stamps. You had to be able, and so that started a forced learning curve that today we're seeing that on a whole nother level where there's some that are resisting it. And let's talk on the institutional side, banking side, or what, and it's a new thing, and it's kind of like it was a hip thing, and then all of a sudden it really started making money. So that brings us to a good point to where we are right now, as it relates to any particular prospective constituency. So in our case, we're really in it's a combination of education, information, communication that hopefully at some element becomes persuasional. So I wouldn't say we're marketing per se, but information and education is a form of marketing. So we're excited, but at this point, we're really ready to pick the pace up. And that's why I'm really excited to engage with everyone and to hear other ideas and to be able to do it in without having to be locked into an ethnic disposition. We can, it doesn't matter how big or small or where you live or where you're from. And even to see these emerging economies are really embracing the whole concept around um, blockchain, Bitcoin mining, all the other elements of this. It's coming up around us fast.
Definitely, yeah. It's really exciting to hear your interest and commitment there. Yeah, I mean, I think of course one of the important parts of accepting crypto donations is obviously that they help you fund your mission, and we can talk a little bit about what those donations look like and impact in a moment. But also, I think that this sort of crypto advocacy, we have to remember that it really wasn't that long ago that Black people and people of color in general couldn't start a bank account. There's these institutional barriers to success, whether they be redlining or the education system. That crypto is kind of an opportunity to escape. There are increasing types of crypto that provide loan services or other things that can help entrepreneurs or somebody just looking to start their own life kind of bypass some of these institutions that have racist histories or are still struggling with unintentional biases or systematic biases. So I do think that is one of the advantages of crypto in this space.
I would I would I would just dare everybody just for a second to let's get out here on the street. Let's get out here with the real people. Let's get out here with the masses. there are some significant numbers of unbanked parts of our society, and they'll surprise you because they're all not in people that are lower income. There is been not only a distrust of banks, but just experiences that people have to where they don't have a bank account and aren't trying to get one. And now that what you were talking about, these other services, as the crypto world comes into, whether it is access to capital or whether, I mean, just something simple as compounding interest accounts. Oh my God, that's heavy duty stuff. You could there's more things, and if you have a spare moment and you start scrolling through TikTok or something like that, particularly when you get into the financial type conversations and discussions, people are smart. People are the learning curve is rising quickly, and they're looking for alternatives and looking at how you can integrate the reality of your world with the system. And the system is trying to catch up, and partially, it's almost like remember when they used to talk about an electric car? I mean, 20 years ago, and they're like, oh no, they're not going to let that happen. And the pro fossil fuel people, or the combustible engines, or all these institutional things that are there. That's where this concept on disruption really started to evolve, that somebody found a way. And if we use the analogy for electric cars, Elon Musk, he got the money and said, well, okay, I'll just dedicate the research till we figure out what the barrier is for us. And that was a battery. In this case, the advent of platforms such as, I mean, Cash App. Cash App has made it so easy to just kind of stick your toe in the water of the crypto world and what it has. And now the others that are trying to follow it, but yet make it somewhat dedicated or exclusive to that particular platform, has allowed for it. But as we get into it now, it's not. It's, you know how when you go to the checkout counter and they ask you, do you want to round up and
Mhm.
donate to this cause or donate to that cause? It's a little bit something similar, because it's not unusual for a Bitcoin transaction or a crypto transaction that, with the way the fees are, whether they're gas fees, whatever type of fees they may be, there's a little change left over. And sometimes, depending on the size of the transaction, that could be very significant. But if you find it as a way to be able to support and contribute, our approach, and as I hope to make it under my leadership and my vision for our organization, is to lace it as part of an educational process. And educational in this case is kind of like less textbook and more hands-on. So application, finding out how you can use it, what you can do with it, where, how, when, and ultimately, more small businesses are going to start accepting it. And I mean Bitcoin as a denomination for uh, purchasing. You know,
Yeah, definitely. I think that hands-on aspect to the education is very important. It looks like we did get Sonya in here. Sonya, I'm sorry we didn't do a test space, but this is a learning experience, and we're glad to have you. Did you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm sorry about that. My name is Sonya Shields. I'm the Senior Vice President for Organizational Development Initiatives at Children of Promise NYC. And I'm a longtime nonprofit executive for many different organizations. I've been with Children of Promise full time since September, but the organization was a client for the past 2 years.
That's awesome. Charles here was, we were talking about a moment ago about how he's noticing some kind of a rising tide and some more optimism this Black History Month. I was wondering if you wanted to discuss kind of the importance of Black History Month to Children of Promise.
Sure, sure. It's, as a Black woman in America, I have many feelings about Black History Month, and I'm very proud to be working for an organization that serves primarily majority Black young people, Black and brown young people, but many Black Americans. And as we know, America has made huge strides over the years and decades, but our work towards social justice and equality is far from reached. And quite honestly, many people in this country are simply not aware of the many contributions that so many Black Americans have made. I'm still learning. It was not taught to me in school. I grew up on Long Island, and did not know about our rich history until I landed at Howard University, my first semester there. And so, it's very important to continue to elevate Black History Month. And it's very important at Children of Promise because we see firsthand the trauma that Black children and youth experience because of parental incarceration, which remains the most racist system in this country. And so our goal is to ensure that they feel pride and confidence about being Black and that they are aware and inspired by the achievements that Black Americans have made for our society. Because, we always say you can't become what you can't see. And so educating them around the significant racial barriers that Black people had to overcome and are still working today to overcome. We are seeing racism play out all the time. And so this just helps Black children and youth to have vision, to set goals, and to work towards them. So it's very much celebrated every single day throughout the month with all kinds of activities for them to learn about our history and to feel hopeful, prideful, and to, you know, understand that they can achieve many things in their lives, that achievement is accessible to them.
Yeah, it's interesting that line about you can't become what you can't see. I believe you said this kind of inability to aspire to something or to achieve something that you didn't even know was an opportunity. Charles and I were talking about some of the institutional barriers that might have or did exist to Black people and people of color in general, and still exist today, whether it be the massive unbanked population or redlining or abilities to get loans, and how crypto can be an opportunity to not only circumvent those institutions, but also an educational opportunity and a chance for entrepreneurship. I was wondering if you could talk a bit about how Children of Promise found out about crypto and how you decided to accept it.
Just hearing you say that gave me chills. I've got to say, it gave me chills because it just made me aware of the opportunities that crypto provides that I wasn't even aware of. I have personally many friends who talk about crypto, but I am not knowledgeable. It wasn't even something that was on the radar as a way to receive financial support until my friend and your employee, Emily, shared this opportunity with the Giving Block, and I jumped at it. And so did my colleague Sharon Content, who's of the organization, because we see it as an evolution in the growth of the organization and the way to provide philanthropic support. And certainly, we're always looking at the diversification of our funding streams, and we want to meet people where they are in terms of their philanthropy. But there's so much that we need to learn. And I'm excited hearing you say that because it's opening up a door for me to step into around how can we start to engage our youth around it and families. We do financial literacy. We've partnered with different institutions around financial literacy. We want to do a lot more of that. But I think just the way that you said that gave me chills because of the need for Black people, Black and brown people, to feel that they can, to feel empowered around their future, their economic future, and not to be so afraid of money, because in so many Black and brown families, it's just not talked about. There's very much a scarcity mindset. Do you think money grows on trees? There's not enough. And that's just a mindset that I really believe in shifting. Personally, it was something that, I always felt like, you know, I just didn't feel that I had control of money. And I started to understand in recent years that money is currency, it's energy, and it's just about how you think about it. So thank you for saying that, and it makes me excited to learn more and to be able to partner with the Giving Block, and especially with our donors and with the scholars that attend our program.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it is. I think people even within the crypto community forget that this is a lot more than an investment. It's the goal here is kind of a financial revolution that provides financial freedom and independence for people of all classes and demographics, and it's international as well. I previously worked at a company that was based out of Nigeria and a lot of Western Africa, where you could have over half of the population is unbanked, and crypto was a massive opportunity for them to have some more stability with savings. But just on the funding aspect, the more kind of obvious, crypto is a new revenue stream for your nonprofits. Charles and Sonya, I guess we can have Charles go first here. Could you talk about what crypto donations mean to the National Black Chamber of Commerce in a kind of impact way? What do those donations look like? What are some of the direct initiatives that they fund?
That's a great answer, because really, a great question. The answer to that is that it's still very new. We haven't figured it out. We have not had a rhyme or reason as to how we embrace the I almost want to call it merchandising. It doesn't happen on its own. It has to be marketed, and in many cases, if your audience isn't readily adaptive to crypto in general, but not but in philanthropy too. There's kind of a combination. There's a philanthropic type of disposition or mentality, and then there's this whole new thing with the digital currency meeting philanthropy. So that's really, I think, the challenge for us right now, because our donations are a little bit. I almost want to say random. There's no we have no algorithm on it yet, or we've not been able to really harness it. But that is changing rapidly, because we're going to focus campaigns in and around. And one of the things that just came out was financial literacy. And as we kind of drill down to the children or the younger folks, what you just mentioned about Nigeria is completely a stark example of what reality is. They're for currency, for exchange, for being able to go a micro economy, where instead of buying let's say a pack of cigarettes, you buy one or two cigarettes. That is adaptive, and it made its application to the situation. We've got to do the same thing in our own environments, and what we're doing here. It's happening. It's coming. But now, if we're able to cross collateralize, cross merchandise with other partners and sponsors and people that have an interest in our not our organization but our constituency, and how we do and where we can work together, because we could easily convert some of our sponsorships over into crypto, but it's really the younger or newer technologies for that. And I think one of the biggest things you're going to see, probably, or anticipate, you guys probably know better than I, when a platform or an entity such as Amazon starts taking Bitcoin as payment, then you'll see a whole dynamic change for something that large to do it. So to answer your question, we're really still working on it. We're embryonic in it, and we're going to do a number of things starting here, and I hope to partner with you all, as well as any other partners or other people that are like-minded. I'm looking for best practices as well. I'd love to hear the stories of who's having success and how they did it, what they did, and what we can do to replicate that.
For sure, we'll be happy to be a part of that, and I'm excited to see the future there. Sonya, do you want to go ahead and take that question about
Sure.
yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So, just let me try to break it. It's a lot to say. Let me try to break it down. I think, for one, I mentioned that diversification is really important for Children of Promise. We receive funds through government contracts, private foundations, family foundations, and individual gifts. And we have a wide range of folks that give individual gifts, from small gifts of $50 a month, $100 a month, or $100 a year, to people who give $10,000 and more. Our goal is to absolutely increase our funding in the area of individuals and foundations, and crypto is an exciting opportunity to build. We saw a real uptick during Black Lives Matter protests in 2020 and when the pandemic was at its peak here in New York. There were a lot of folks that gave to the organization for the first time. And our hope is that we remain top of mind because the work that we do is truly on the front line for Black and Brown communities. We have over 300 children at this time that come to both sites in the Bronx and in Brooklyn. And the families have really been hard hit by this pandemic and continue to be. So we've had to provide all kinds of services that we've never provided before. I'm talking hot meals, I'm talking medicine, clothing. I mean, the level of giving direct support, monetary direct support, has increased significantly for the organization, in addition to the programs and services that we provide, which is a youth development model. So there's all kinds of activities, and I won't get into all of the various activities, but I will say that what makes our organization unique is that, in addition to providing educational support, tutoring, because we have experienced learning loss. We're seeing firsthand that a lot of the kids are behind because of the schools opening and closing and having to learn online, and the challenges that many of the families experience anyway without having technologies within the home or folks who could really help them with their homework. So we are absolutely experiencing that. A child that at the beginning of the pandemic was in kindergarten, now going into the second grade and having a hard time reading. This is a daily occurrence. So educational support is a big part of our work. We also have a mental health clinic. So every child in our program has an actual clinician. We've had to move with providing virtual options for clinicians because, quite frankly, I'm just going to be candid, a lot of people don't want to come into an office anymore. When we were trying to hire clinicians in the past couple of months, we found that a lot of people immediately said, is this, completely hybrid? Because, I prefer to work from my home. So we've had to pivot and provide those options because providing care to the children and youth in our program is critical, and we don't want to have any bumps and being able to do that. We have a mentoring program. We engage with a lot of folks around volunteering. I could really get into it. I will just say one of the most exciting programs, which is a new program, is Youth Action, which is our social justice initiative. So we are doing cohort programming with teens where they're learning how to, for example, address an issue within their community, and how do you engage people in the community around community service? Like, how do you build out that issue into an actual program, and you do organizing and advocacy, and then you might need to do fundraising. So we're building their skills around telling their stories, breaking through the stigma of having a parent or both parents incarcerated, and understanding that they have purpose, and being a part of advocating for criminal justice reform. So our programs are really becoming more robust. I'm excited about being a part of that. And, I would just say that, our hope is that, people will be inspired by the things that I'm saying, because I can tell you that this is an organization that is truly transforming lives. I see it firsthand every day. The attention that each child in our program gets, one-on-one attention, and we engage with the families as well, with the caretakers through family engagement. We have workshops, stress management. We help them just with coping. And again, as I said, the basic needs. So, my hope is that people will take the time to go to our website, which is cpnyc.org, to learn more and follow us on social media platforms to stay connected, because it is a program that really is strengthening the South Bronx community and the Brooklyn community. And I will just add that our hope is to, through this virtual mental health services that we're providing now, that we'll be able to start to go into other boroughs as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a truly inspiring and diverse range of initiatives. So this space is recorded, so people are going to be able to listen to this going forward. If they weren't able to this morning, and I want to wrap here with maybe kind of a cheesy question, but one that I do think is important. Charles, we'll start with you, and then we'll wrap with Sonya. If you could give any message to the crypto community, Charles, what would it be?
To the crypto community, keep doing what you're doing. The small business community, which is really who we're representing, what we're speaking to, is it has like elasticity, and it's almost like a slingshot or something that's been coiled, it's been pulled back because of the challenges, because of the pandemic economy, because of this post Floyd type of influence that it's had on us, and to a degree where we saw institutional, corporate philanthropy attempting to impact communities and societies. And so where we are and what we're doing is making a difference. In each individual has a voice, has a presence. We're not just defaulted into the systemic channels or paths or roads that we're being uh, promoted or directed towards. We're all making individual efforts and strides and getting results. And I didn't necessarily get into all the different things the National Black Chamber of Commerce is doing, but one of the things I will say is that we're providing all possible resources and services to the transitional or the pivot element for our constituency. And a lot of that then interacts with other types of businesses, regardless of who the founder is, or ethnically who they are, or geographically where they are. And so an organization, let's say like the Giving Block, and to hear the conversations that we're having today is just opening a whole wide world of it. So, uh, cryptologists or people involved in digital currency and whatnot are pioneers. They're leaders, and this is where the no joke comes in, and you're making a lot of money, a lot of money. So we're welcoming, we're engaging, and we are looking forward to bringing even more folks into the fold. And certainly, if we're going to tout and promote and for the documentation, we have the National Black Chamber of Commerce, which is www.nationalbcc.org. But we have another sister site that we've created called the American Dream Marketplace. And we have over 100,000 businesses there, of which 3,000 have set their shops up in a virtual mall. And these are the people that we're going to be introducing with shopping cart type things that will be crypto friendly. And then we've just completed a grant program with the famous Amos chocolate chip cookie company. We gave out 150,000, and we're going to be going to a second round, another year of that, and we want to see if we can bring digital currency as part of that. But at the same time, those businesses are saying they want to learn and they want to also become part of the program. So there's a lot of details to it. I know our time was limited here today, and it's just the first uh, opportunity for me in particular to start to learn and to engage and to really to take notes from you professionals. So in that regard, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Charles. It's truly inspiring. And again, if people want to learn more about the National Black Chamber of Commerce, that's nationalbcc.org. Sonia, do you want to go ahead and take the same question and wrap us up here? One message to the crypto community.
Sure. I mean, the work that we do at Children of Promise is heavy. The children are beautiful, and it's wonderful to see how happy they are and how fulfilling our programs are in their lives. But this organization exists because of mass incarceration. And that's heavy, when you look at the fact that the United States is the leading country that imprisons the most people. We incarcerate more than 2 million people, and yet we are less than 5% of the world's population. So we nearly have something like 25% of the world's inmates. And 60% of those incarcerated are Black and Hispanic. And that's why our organization exists, and we imagine a society that values the purpose of every child impacted by mass incarceration. It has been traumatizing for Black and brown people for generations, and it has kept people in poverty. And it is a system. It is a system. And we need more folks that are using their voice and their resources so that organizations like Children of Promise can help to provide the tools and whether that's the mental health services, resources, educational support, housing, jobs, internships, all of the things that we do so that folks can move out of the situation that they're in, and so that communities can be stronger, so that families can be stronger. So I would just say that the work we do is important. We want to expand this work. We want to have more people that value the purpose of every child and want to partner with us. And so again, I would just hope that folks would go to our website. It's cpnyc.org, and follow us on the social media platforms to stay connected.
Thank you, Sonya. Yeah, once more, that's cpnyc.org if you want to learn more about Children of Promise. For those listening to us live or this recording, we will have another one of these spaces next Monday. You're welcome to join that. But thank you so much, Sonya and Charles. Both of you are part of really inspiring missions, and it's been great to hear that and hear the intersection between them and crypto philanthropy. So I really appreciate you guys joining us today.
Thank you for the time. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was truly an honor.
Glad to hear it. All right. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.